means that we have to check a list of people who have registered with them and let them in. So for those of you just joining us, I want to welcome you. I am Jeff Martin. I'm the Director of Communications and Public Affairs here at the AAA. And I am an older white male with graying brown hair and wearing dark black rimmed glasses. And in the background, I have I'm sitting in my kitchen with a Christmas tree behind me. I want to welcome everyone. Welcome to Disability, Ethnography and Performance. This is a two-part series that started last Thursday, with a webinar entitled Collaborative Scripts, Disability and Chronic Illness Through Ethnographic Theater and Film. And I have to tell you, if you weren't a part of that last week, please do look it up. It was a fantastic performance. The writing and direction was done so well, and the acting was superb. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I know you will too. Look it up. You can do that by, as a matter of fact, I am going to put, or Nell, if you would put up there the website, our basic website, come to AAA and look for the webinar series, and you'll be able to, we'll have it posted there soon, and you'll be able to see the recording and the slides. The same with what's going to take place today. Today we're doing Undoing Disability, Ethnography and Performance, and it's going to be equally as entertaining and as insightful as last week's one. A few housekeeping items. To make this more accessible for everyone, you'll see we're providing ASL, but we also will be providing closed captioning. If you would, for those of you who don't know, move your icon to the bottom of your screen and you'll see your cursor. You'll see an icon that says closed captioning. Click on that and you'll be able to enable it. While I'm at it, and you're already moving your cursor, look for the icon at the bottom that says chat, and that's our chat room. Use that to discuss anything you want with the other attendees. And also, if you have any questions for the presenters, put it in there. But to help us, start with the word question, and then ask your question. It helps us as we go through to sort who's asking the questions. We are going to try to leave time at the end for question and answers, so we'll be able to address them then. Also, if anyone has any questions or specific needs in the participant list or the chat room, actually, you can actually look for Nell. She's our accessibilities coordinator, and you could ask her specifically any questions or needs that you might have. Lastly, and this is always important, to help us with bandwidth and everything, please remember to turn off your video and also mute yourselves to help us. So without any more ado, let me introduce Pam.
Hi, everyone. I am Pam LeBlanc. I'm a disability anthropologist at Western University in the anthropology department. I've been here just over a year after 17 years teaching in disability studies and the health professions in a US university. I am a 52-year-old woman with salt and pepper hair, shoulder length, and I'm wearing a knitted shawl. I sit in a dining room / music room / COVID office. Behind me is a dining room table with a buffet covered in masks and Hanukkah preparations, a piano, a guitar case. There's a menorah with candles behind me. The shawl was a present from Carly Whitmore from Casca, one of the presents she sent as a thank you to the 2020 program committee for our efforts. And as I said last week, the only way I can imagine AAA topping this would be if they sent knitted items to all of us made of yarn spun by Deva. More on that later. These webinars, today's and last week's Collaborative Scripts, Disability and Chronic Illness Through Ethnographic Theater and Film, which involved the play readings and a video, play readings from Cassandra Hartblay's ethnographic play, and film by Megan Moody, which, as Jeff mentioned, is available or will soon be available on the AAA website for those who missed it. And these were originally planned as in-person co-sponsored sessions for the Canadian Anthropological Society and the Canadian Disability Studies Association during the 2020 Federation for the Humanities and Social Sciences Congress that was supposed to be here at Western University last May. I was on the program committee for CASCA, and I had organized all these events and more. The committee had a wonderful slate, but unfortunately the pandemic came and the world changed. But I'm so grateful to the AAA for providing a home to these wonderful sessions that allow us to use disability wisdom to continue to make and perform art and discuss art and scholarship during the pandemic, and to broaden our definition of what constitutes ethnography. In this virtual gathering, let's first take a moment to remember that we are all of us connected through the winds and waters of our earth. Let us acknowledge Indigenous elders past and present, and the people who held the land of our homes and university before the arrival of colonizers and invaders. Western University is located on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Lenni Lenape peoples. Now I'm going to briefly introduce our three presenters. They will be providing their own image descriptions. Arcely Dokumasi is an assistant professor in communication studies in the Communication Studies Department at Concordia University. Arcely is also the Canadian Research Chair in Critical Disability Studies and Media Technologies, and she is currently establishing an interdisciplinary disability and media lab at Concordia. Arcely's research focuses on medical anthropology, performance, and disability studies, and her research appeared in various journals, including Current Anthropology, South Atlantic Quarterly, and Performance Research. Petra Kuppers is an internationally active disability culture activist and a community performance artist. She creates participatory community performance environments that think slash feel into public space, tenderness, access, and experimentation. Petra grounds herself in disability culture methods. She received the American Society for Theater Research's Best Dance/Theater Book Award, the National Women's Caucus for the Arts Award for Arts and Activism, and her performance poetry collection, Gut Botany, and named one of the top 10 poetry books of 2020 by the New York Public Library. She teaches at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and on the low residency MFA in Interdisciplinary Arts at Goddard College. Her next academic book project, Ecosoma, Speculative Performance Encounters, will appear with the University of Minnesota Press in fall 2021. And finally, Deba Kasnetz, disability anthropologist, foundational in the field, and a longtime co-author of mine, including our edited volume, Occupying Disability. She is the Spring 2020 and 2018 Kate Welling Distinguished Scholar in Disability Studies, Miami University and Oxford, Ohio, and the adjunct professor at CUNY University of New York School of Professional Studies in Disability Studies, and she is the executive director of the Society for Disability Studies. And she also was a Senior Scholar Award recipient for the Society for Disability Studies and has held many roles in the Society over decades, including president and board member, in addition to her current role as executive director. Now I am passing the torch on to our first presenter, Arcely.
Thank you very much, Pam, for this introduction and for organizing this webinar. I would also like to thank the American Anthropological Association and its wonderful staff, as well as the interpreters and transcribers. And I will also like to thank my fellow presenters both this week and last week. I'm a light-skinned woman wearing dark glasses with short black hair, and behind me is a library and a flower. So let me start. One morning, I stood up from the toilet, pulled my jeans up in the slowest of motions. My hands and shoulders were inflamed and painful. Then came the hardest part. How the hell was I going to zip up? Everyday life is full of such tinkerings for me because since my teenage years, I've been living with a chronic disease that is causing pain and gradual disablement. Because this disease affects the joints and joints mean movement, your everyday life turns into a stage where you have to choreograph the dance of avoiding pain. I will now share my screen. The slide shows a hand holding a spoon by grasping its handle with an index finger and pushing it on the thumb's knuckle. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about such ingenious ways of living with disability, to borrow from Neil Marcus, that are buried in the most hidden corners of everyday life and in the tiniest of our actions. These are ephemeral micro acts, arts of everyday survival that I'm calling activist affordances. Activist affordances emerge out of two visual ethnographies. The first one of which took place in 2009 in Istanbul and Quebec, where I worked with 23 participants who have non-apparent disabilities related to rheumatoid arthritis. As shown in the slides, I visited my participants at their homes, interviewed and filmed them as they performed very simple daily tasks, quote unquote. The second ethnography took place in Montreal, where I followed 3 differently disabled individuals as they navigated the public spaces of this highly inaccessible city, such as crossing streets covered with snow as shown in the slides. To give an outline, I will begin with the traditional idea of affordances, followed by my own theorization of it, introducing first what I call shrinkage, continuing with performance, and finally talking about the concept of activist affordances. The theory of affordances was developed by James Gibson in ecological psychology. Gibson coined the term in his own words, in order to refer to the mutuality of the organism and the environment in a way no existing term does. Affordances refer to the possibilities of action, the actualization of which depends upon the reciprocity between the properties of the organism and those of the environment. Now, this is all good, but what I propose in my theory is that let's look at when that mutuality cannot be readily found in the given order of things and what happens thereafter. I would like to ask to stop the video recording for momentarily. I will be showing video clips, 3 video clips. First 2 are now drawing on these moments. I propose to think of disability ecologically as the shrinking of the environment and its existing set of affordances. With the concept shrinkage, I surely do not mean a deficit approach. Rather, I am thinking along with Alison Kafer, who called for stories that not only admit limitation, even failure, but that recognize such failure as ground for theory itself. Shrinking is the ground for a theory of activist affordances, because precisely at such moments, as I will now show, something else happens. Can we again pause the recording, please? I'm going back to my slides. Whether it's the disabling barrier, an ableist habitus, or the experiencing of chronic pain, disease, or debilitation, disability occurs, I argued, as the narrowing down of the environment and its space for action. But precisely at such moments of shrinkage, as we have seen, it is the space of performance that opens up and allows us to make that environment afford otherwise. By performance, I mean, along with Diana Taylor, what moves between the as if and the as is, between pretend and new constructions of the real. Think of actors on stage who bring into being an elsewhere and elsewhere by operating within the very constraints of the stage. Same happens in everyday life lived with a disability. Just like actors improvising on stage, disabled people may move, sense, and behave in such ways that they enact the affordances unimaginable otherwise, affordances within which their pain would be minimized and their non-normative bodies would somehow be reciprocated by the environment. This is what I call activist affordances. I define activist affordances as micro, ephemeral, and performative acts of world building with which disabled people literally make up and at the same time must make up for whatever affordances fail to readily materialize in their environments, such as these micro moments of brushing your hair by bending your head, or these moments of using a pair of old gloves, your arthritic nodules, or your teeth to open bottles. In Cruising Utopia, I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. In Cruising Utopia, José Munoz proposes that we consider embodied queer performances as a feature in the present, as outpost of actually existing queer worlds. Following Munoz, I propose that we consider activist affordances as the outpost of actually existing accessible features. I'm arguing this because none of my participants in this slide had ever access to or even knew of such adapted tools as a elongated comb, a button hook, or an ergonomic chair. And yet they were able to imagine and actualize the very affordances of these objects in and through their performances. In short, they danced the affordances of accessible world in their physical absence. And they did so within what Nirmala Arevalis would call the historical material conditions of becoming disabled. Consider Ahmet's story, a physically disabled person with a cane shown on the slide. Ahmet grew up in rural Turkey in early 90s, which lacked basic infrastructure. This was also the time when Ahmet fell ill at 10 years old. His feet were entirely inflamed. He could not walk without support. I asked Ahmet if he was able to attend the school regularly, which was far from their home with a village path and no transportation in between. Ahmet replied, "Of course, my dad carried me back and forth." Ahmet's father did so every single day for 3 years. He became the very affordances of what would have, in ideal circumstances, been a wheelchair, an adapted public transportation, or a smooth surfaced road. In the current shaping of the environment, we may not have adapted tools or assistive technologies at our disposal. We may not be readily provided with infrastructures or services that would sustain our actions. We may not live in an accessible world, and perhaps we never will. But when an activist affordance is created, it is as if such livable niches were already built. It is as if such accessible features have already arrived, only that they exist in our doings, performances, and unfinished makings. Thank you.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody, and thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for Pamela to bring me in here. I'm so glad to be presenting with these people. I'm Petra Kappas, she, her. I come to you from Nishnabek territory in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And I'm wearing a red velvet top. I'm behind me is a pink wall with lots of different lights, and I'm wearing yellow glasses. And I am a large woman, a white woman in her mid-50s, and I have a shaved head. And behind me, occasionally you can see glimpses of a Cthulhu War of the World kind of image that gives you a little bit of a sense of the science fiction and dark fantasy flavor of my work. All right. So I think my presentation will hook up really well with Arcelis because there's so many interesting connections there, and I hope you'll hear some of those. In this talk, I will take you on 2 ecosomatic explorations: community performance in macro and micro worlds. So in January 2020, just before the pandemic shifted performance making throughout the world, I co-created a performance workshop with a group of anthropologists and others who were interested to move and think about disability and intersectionality. We visited with the Museum of Archaeology Ontario on the traditional lands of the Nishnabek, Haudenosaunee, Lunapiwak, and Athawandaron peoples in London, Ontario, Canada. For our visit, we set up an alternative knowledge walkthrough, a performance structure I often use for museum, gallery, or archive visits. And here is how one of the participants, Amala Poli, described the experience. So I am citing Amala here. The local Museum of Ontario Archaeology was the site of our first group activity on the 3rd and final day of the workshop. I chose this activity, the Alternative Knowledges Tour, for discussion here, as the museum experience is often guided by the written plaques next to artifacts, demanding our attentions, structuring knowledge and consumption of the various kinds of stimuli within the museum. Guided by Petra Kappes' gentle suggestions, individual participants meandered into different corners of the archaeological museum, choosing artifacts to present them to the other participants. This exercise disrupted the conventional expectations of the museum space, as each of us created a two-part process. We first presented our chosen object or image in its historical context to honor it in its own right, and then added a creative element that speculatively guided the rest of the individuals through a new and imaginative experience of the chosen artifact. It gave us occasion to coexist in a space of respectful attention and care, listening and absorbing each other's creative and imaginative energies together. This is what Amala wrote on the Medical Humanities blog, and I'm grateful for her for archiving some of our experiences together. Around us in the museum, the history of archaeology lay exposed in its own sedimentary layers. In my station, I stood in front of a glass screen, not touching. Behind the glass was a small mammoth plastic creature. And Nell, I would love you to share the image that I gave you now. So you're going to be now in the presence of this small mammoth creature. Okay. There you go. So there it is, a small mammoth plastic creature with impossibly red lips at the end of a long trunk. Next to it lay excavated fossilized mammoth teeth. I spent time looking, being lost, opening. I sensed for what would come through in speculative modes of ecosoma attention. Then the group came around to my station. I didn't know what would happen. I hadn't planned it out. I just trusted my improvisatory skills, and I also trusted that something would offer itself to me if I asked gently enough, if I pressed into the earth right there. We went on a dream journey. Inviting them with my voice, I had everybody drop into this particular location thousands of years ago. I cannot fully remember what I spoke in that dream meditation. I'm altered when I do these things. Since so much of my memory is sensory, image and sensation flashes, I offer it in a complex pronoun, not claiming anything for the group, but also inviting you in, you here who are listening to me. This remains from this dream journey in my memory. At one point, you, I, us are sitting on the ground. There is sparse grass below, sandy soil beneath that, a gentle breeze, alone, but the community is not far. The sky is wide. Something comes up from behind, massive, but not threatening, awe-inspiring, but not violent. There is a musky smell. You, I, us, feel the heft of its being in the trembling earth beneath. There is no threat. It lays its long snout on you, me, us, the shoulder, a weight, airflow and humidity on cheek. It kisses you, me, us. Warm breath blow. Then it withdraws, a question mark as much as a benediction. And we now can take the picture away. Eventually, I return to our consensus world on the floor in the museum, in front of the glass cabinet, in the circle of our group. And here is that little plastic mammoth now asking me about anthropomorphism, about who does what to whom, about pedagogies that are open to what is on the limit, about embodied journeys that can't be remembered, unruly senses, land yielding with a gift to a quiet request, people breathing in meditation, yielding even as none of us in our multiracial community can really trust one another in a world of white supremacy, eugenic impulses, and colonial injustice. We brought a lot of our pathways to this meeting, where we came from, our people, our land. Now we are on this land. We, you, I, breathe, fill lungs together, center well-being in community, in risk. We, you, I, in a museum or here in a webinar, breathe with the dust and memory that Tiffany King reminds me of, and I quote Tiffany King, "Slavery and genocide linger in places we do not expect and cannot yet see or define." I'm also holding on to Tiffany King's later comment, and I ask myself to not get too hopeful, to not get too carried away. She tasks her book to arrest settler colonialism's tendencies to resuscitate older liberal humanist modes of thought to create new post-structural and postmodern forms of violent humanisms that feed off indigenous genocide and Black social death. Let's not get romantic in the violence of the Anthropological Museum, even as we explore new kin. Stay at the limit. And yet, here we are, there we were, yielding to a queer interspecies kiss. All right, go with me to a second field visit, this time in our own living room, again touching strata, touching objects. I invite you now to stim with something in your own home. Just look around yourself. You all are in homes. I can't see you on the screen because only one of us is visible, or two of us with the interpreter, but find something, anything, like a small, I'm holding a little plush animal, or maybe it's a pillow. Just hold something while I'm reading the next bit and just touch it, feel it. Think about stimming, this way of affirming our own boundaries, something that comes to us from neurodiverse worlds. Once a week, a number of local artists meet in Turtle Disco, my home in Ypsilanti, Michigan, in a repurposed living room which faces out to the street. It is a somatic writing studio I co-create with my wife and creative partner, Stephanie Height, a dancer and writer. She and I both identify as disabled. I'm a wheelchair user. Stephanie is bipolar and lives with brain injury. Most of the people who come to Turtle Disco likewise identify as disabled and as queer. Our Turtle Disco practice is purposefully local. For me, it is the pendant of my ongoing and long-standing wider international practice. Turtle Disco and its local web follows the impetus given by feminist science writer Donna Haraway. In the last chapter of her influential book, Staying with the Trouble, she discusses communal storytelling as a tool for imagining new futures. She focuses on a person in a commune, Camille, a fictional entity of the children of the compost, a collaborative web of speculative narratives. Camille is genetically bonded to monarch butterflies in an effort to save them from extinction, and readers follow 5 generations of Camille's and their changing physicalities and adaptive embedments or affordances. Turtle Disco sees itself in this future lineage, local, sustainable, aware of the histories of extraction, exclusion, and colonial violence in our place, with neighbors coming together, engaging in art life practice to sustain ourselves as a chosen web. In our practices, Turtle Disco rehearses for Haraway's small cooperatives, small communities, healing and recharging caves. Turtle Disco imagines itself as a healthcare performance practice to hold ourselves, non-human others, including the dogs that you keep hearing in the background here, and the world toward new forms of cohabitation. In one of our practices, object theater work and shared animacy, honoring life and story everywhere, becomes very resonant. My own disability manifests itself primarily through chronic pain. In one of our weekly sessions, Contemplative Dance and Writing, led by Stephanie Height, individual movements and meditation are followed by an open space segment. In this segment of the practice, people can choose to participate and engage each other to witness from the side. I often wish to participate, but my limbs might be frozen by pain. To get off my cushion station and move into the circle can be too hard. Even though Stephanie and I have installed a grab bar on the wall by my nesting spot, one of the affordances, I sometimes cannot easily rise up. So one practice I engage in is to drape the soft, fluffy blanket that is part of my nesting station over myself. And I have it here. Here's one of my blankets. I'm holding a turquoise plastic blanket. Then I animate it like a puppet. I creep and slide slowly into the middle of the room, unable to see where I'm going, but slowly and in keeping with my pain rhythm. A pink or turquoise plush monster puppet, a blob, an amoeba, unconcerned with high kicks or wide reaches, but rippling with sensitive edges and fringes, sliding and pooling across the wood floor. As you hear this, and as you feel where you are and what you're holding, feel and name your sensations. What are you sitting on? What is it made of? What are you holding? How did it come to this place? What is your relation to it? What stories does the material tell you when you use your own sensitive fringes, your fingertips, maybe your lips to touch it? How does it feel to contort your own body into new configurations, to create new relations to what is familiar to you? Enjoy the stretch. Eventually in Turtle Disco, my draped body encounters something. Maybe someone is reaching out to me, or there's a foot in my trajectory. At this point, the drape, my body, become a new unit. The new assemblage becomes puppet, non-facial, sensing in tactile ways, with readable and relatable emotions and narratives. In my reading of what is going on, we, the people in the room, play like children, able to animate everything around us. And we play like adults, able to connect our imagination with strata of knowledges we have of objects we use as somatic extensions. Made in China, wind-up toys or little plastic toys bob rhythmically on the wood floor as we finger them. Labor conditions, plastic pollution, and supply lines enter the dance too. There's a tiny plastic whale I play with, touching its round surfaces. And while I hold the little whale in my hand, suddenly we spontaneously make sounds in the studio, chirping and humming and call and response, slowing and booming. Slowly, my improvising body mind weaves into the dance the effects of sonar and seismic blasting of whale life and on whale pots. Non-realist representations that take flight from recognizable human figures and bodily configuration can allow for deep expressive potential and can offer rich avenues for disabled performance makers. Instead of mimicry, we find other ways of creating relationality, of infusing objects with emotions and interactivity. This is a facet of ecosomatic imagination at play, an extending of one's skin envelope into expressive collaboration with materials, enacting and literalizing the poetics of new materialist perspectives on materials agency. In my manipulation of the blanket, for instance, the blanket also speaks back to me. I'm aware of its materiality. An oil-based process creates the fluffy, soft, and easily washable fleece blanket we are using, and I'm aware of the fiber shedding that accompanies these materials and contaminates our waterways. The objects can carry a lot. If someone is not feeling up to eye contact, or is very tired, or wants to act out of some angry scene without endangering the rest of the living actants, these objects, this blanket, can help us to do so. In these pain practices in Turtle Disco, becoming with other and becoming fictional are all avenues for self-expression and modes of connectivity. Time, space, and bodies shift under pressure in many different ways. So that was my talk. These are my eco-soma writing methods, touching through, touching with, in respect, with a pause for pain practices, for memory, in community. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed your objects.
Hello.
Hello.
Can I read the chat?
Say again, Deva.
Go ahead and read the chat.
Go ahead and read the chat. I describe myself as a 70-year-old Jewish woman who is never still, but not always in pain, and I have a mountain of gray hair on my head. I'm wearing silver grape earrings and a dress painted with flowers. I sit on Weot, Karuk, and Yaruk land in a room almost buried in paper and books.
Can someone pin me?
Can someone pin me?
Next slide.
Say again.
Next slide.
Next slide. I'm sorry.
Yes, but play.
Go ahead and push play.
If you don't have captions on, you might want to turn on.
If you don't have captions on, you might have to turn them on.
The woman you see, like this, is Tanya.
The woman you see
Is Tanya
is Tanya,
blonde in a blue shirt?
blonde hair and blue shirt. We don't have any sound on the audio.
That's okay. That's not real.
That's okay.
That's good enough. Stop the video.
Stop the video. That's enough.
Go to the next slide.
And go to the next slide.
I open.
I open my classes
the next video
with this video
or a dance.
or a dance,
A flourish.
a flourish,
Oh,
a flourish of my wardrobe.
I do this
I start this way
to eyes
to destabilize
with my evidence.
my audience.
It shows off with I clearly can't do
It shows off what I clearly can't do
at the same time that it trumpets
at the same time that it trumpets
what I can do
what I can do
that no one would expect it to do,
that no one would expect me to do
and that they can't.
and that they can't.
Okay, by the way,
By the way,
you didn't miss anything
you didn't miss anything
by not having audio on the video.
by not having audio on the video,
Because
because
joke is
the joke is
that I can't understand myself.
that I can't understand myself.
And I realized that halfway through,
And I realized that halfway through,
and I switched from making sense
I switched from making sense
to pure gibberish.
to
Gibberish.
gibberish
Because I realized
because I realized
I can't spin and talk at the same time.
I can't spin and talk at the same time.
Next slide.
Next slide.
I heard everything that happens in my class.
I record everything that happens in my class.
So here is me
So here is me
performing my student's brain
performing my student's brain
for the student.
for the students.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness.
Look at her talking.
Look at her talking.
Now it's not on gallery view.
Now, if you're not on gallery view,
Go to gallery view.
go to gallery view
So you can see me.
so you can see me.
Look at how her face contorts.
Look at how her face contorts.
Who could ever understand her?
Who could ever understand her?
Just keep talking.
She just keeps talking.
Oh no, she's looking at me.
Oh no, she is looking at me.
What will I do if she asks me a question?
What will I do if she asks me a question?
How will I even know it's a question?
How will I even know it's a question?
What should I do?
What should I do?
Do the others understand
Do
her?
others understand her?
Am I alone?
Am I alone?
Poor babies.
Say again.
Poor babies.
Poor babies.
Of course, they can't.
Of course, they can't
Thank that.
think that.
And listen.
And
Listen
listen
at the same time.
at the same time.
Next thought.
Next slide, please. I developed this technique long ago to both stop myself from trying to delude myself that I could blend into the wallpaper and to be sure that I controlled the narrative. And the slide depicts an image of Deva. It's in profile, and she's dressed with a tiara. She's wearing glasses and her long flowing gray and dark hair, fairy wings, and holding a wand with a star. She's wearing long loop necklaces, and it's a beautiful image.
It's my fairy godmother persona.
It's my fairy godmother persona.
Next slide.
Next slide. Autoethnography. Why autoethnography? To bring out nuance. I moved from Australia to Sicily over 3 years of studying reproduction and immigration for my dissertation. But my best data on the Sicilians' conception of female physiology came from the kitchen table and bathroom conversations about whether or not it was a good idea for me to have a baby or to see if I properly cleaned my disabled body. The conversational foil to understanding general ethno-embodiment. Because of my speech impairment, I use chat, text, and email as others use the telephone and face-to-face conversation. I have verbatim transcripts of all my classes and most meetings I attend from employing computer-aided, real-time transcription, or CART, as an accommodation. As data, I mine these texts altered only to protect others' anonymity. Forgive me. I make no claim to generalization. Today, I am content to demonstrate how anthropological tools make my life more meaningful to me with verbatim, electronically captured data. Next slide. Disability studies, disability anthropology, and disability justice are contested terms with issues of ownership and appropriation. We have had 30 years of experience doing disability studies and thinking about it by that name, long enough for it to be misappropriated by others who recognize it is hip, but little else. Think rehab. For many, this necessitates the use of the modifier critical disability studies, or even CRIP studies. Appropriation still rules when recently a professional job was advertised as a chair in CRIP studies, when by law, it cannot be reserved for a CRIP. With enormous growth in publications, teaching, popular culture, and public policy about disability, we need to understand the social, educational, and organizational history in service of understanding current cutting edges and where we think some of the resulting blood flow may soon take us as austerity becomes an embodied disability crisis. lest we fall off the peripheral cliff edges of academia.
Next slide.
Next slide. I offer disability anthropology as foil to anthropology of disability, as others offer disability justice for disability rights. Each is a subtle shift of emphasis. It helps us to see ableist pedagogy implied in how power structures aim to support disabled students and faculty irrevocably entwine disability embodiment in the experience, whether seeking funding or instructional accommodations. Who controls these material, temporal, and organizational means of apprehension explains why intersectionality as a term can never be too far from disability. It explains why disability anthropologists, disabled or not, have turned to versions of autoethnography to demonstrate what we experience and what that experience teaches. I will parallel my simple history of disability studies with examples from my autoethnography of pedagogical performance, pedagogical organizations, and how they have encouraged and impeded the creation and performance of teaching and learning.
Okay, on sound. No,
With no sound. My disability, did you want me to read or did you?
no, the sound on.
Can you put the sound on? Thank you.
I'll just do it live.
I'll just do it live.
Go ahead. My is and how walk into a room. Everyone in that room who can see or hear, let us be at this airport and treat me differently. Because of I look and I move, because of I stand and am instantly set up. I know you do the second half.
Sure, Tanya, you do the second half. Can you go ahead and forward about halfway through the video? Thank you.
Yeah.
And that is my disability. I can't blend. I can't hang out in the background. I'm always
Visible.
visible. I'm on display. And of course, my reaction is, if everyone is going to stare anyhow, let's give them something to look at.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, I'm done.
Everyone turn on cameras.
I'm thinking we never really talked about how we would handle question and answer. We don't have a lot of time. We're right at the hour. But I think that the best way to handle it would be like if people have questions to put them in the chat. And if we don't have time to answer, which I think we have very little time right now, I think that we can try to get back to you later. You know, like contact us, contact the presenters, and they will try to respond to you directly. So I think we will end the formal presentation here and thank everyone for attending. And we look forward to getting your feedback or your questions as we move forward.
And I'll provide the video to the AAA to post.
And I will submit the video to AAA to post.
Well, this is Petra. Thank you, everybody. It was wonderful to present with you, Deva and Asli. It was great. And thanks for organizing us, Pam. So much appreciated.
Same here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Petra. Thank you, Deva and Pam, and for everyone for listening.
Yay. And I'm glad that some of the people from the Western University residency are actually here on the call with us. So great to see you again. Hi, Matthew.
And
Thanks, everyone.
stay tuned for more from AAA,
And stay tuned for more from AAA.
with more from SFAA,
And more from SFAA
and from SDS
and from SDS.
at the Society of Fine Anthropology.
That's the Society for
Applied Anthro.
Applied Anthro, thank you.
Society of
And the Society for Disability Studies.
This conversation is flow from one conference to the next.
And these conferences will flow from one conference to the next.
Yeah, they're all connected.
They're all connected.
Is there. So come,
So come.
come. Bring your students.
Bring your students.
Yeah, have SDS deal. The faculty member or distinguished.
I
They
love how we have, oh, sorry, Pam.
They can bring all the students for free.
And the SDS deal is, and I missed a little bit in there, but basically you can bring all your students for free.
If you're a member,
Yeah, if one
Thank you.
faculty member for
the
just
professor is the member, the students can attend for free. That's pretty
Yep.
amazing.
right after your
Another disability COVID hack.
Those of you who can't read,
All right.
if whom the chat is not accessible, I just want to point out that we have people here from all over the world, and that's just lovely to see. You know, people here from Chile, Indonesia, India, all over. So great.
Okay. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you.